Good day, everybody. Good day. I'll turn down the music a little bit. A little more. No, that's too little. That's too little. No, not messing about. This seems good. Seems good. Okay. Yes. Here we are. Here we are. The day before 11.1. Are you ready? Tomorrow. Poison. They already have issues apparently. Apparently there's issues. Already. Before the patch came live. I mean, it's live on American servers, not here yet. So I can't show you anything new that's on yet, but I will show you what's going to come up soon. Let's see. A few things. Most importantly, I see game login here. What is it? Game login. Starting in update 11.0, we found out that on average the game launch time has increased significantly in latest updates. We're currently looking for ways to reduce logging times to more familiar and more comfortable values. As soon as we know more, we'll be sure to share more information on the status and deadline of the fix. So they found an issue with 11.0 to start apparently. That, well, login was take a long time. They're gonna have a look into that. They haven't stated a fix yet, so yeah, that we'll have to wait for that. Users running Windows 7 OS are experiencing problems with the display of various elements and content in the armory. We already found a solution for the issue and will soon be applied to a service. Does not say when though. Just will soon. We'll see how soon it is. Bot behavior. Bot AI got a major overhaul in 11.1 with the aim of making it easier and faster to set up bots for different battle types and scenarios. Sounds good. Internal testing showed that the change wouldn't affect bot behavior in co-op, operations and other temporary battle types as planned. However, feedback and statistics from public tests showed that bots were ramming more frequently in co-op. We're looking into the fast way to fix the issue and plan to have it patched in one of the close updates. As soon as we know more, we will be sure to share more information on the issue. We would also like to thank you for taking part in the public tests and for your feedback, which had helped us to identify the problem. This is a reason why being a protest can help out pretty much. So already issues, interesting. 11.0, 11.2, 11.2, 11.1 balance changes. Let's go here. It's only 11.1 I see right now. Hanover gets changes. Required number of successful salvos to activate combat instructions decreased from 16 to 12, so we get far more often those super secondaries. The timer is to start resetting the progress of combat instructions if the ship is not firing, changed from 45 to 50 seconds. So, okay. So if you don't shoot for 50 seconds now, it will reset to 0 again. Main battery reload time reduced from 30 seconds to 33 seconds on the Satsuma. So a little bit of a nerf there. British supercarrier Eagle has not been in the game, so we'll see that when it comes into the game. I changed the altitude when cruising, preparing for an attack and aiming, as well as an angle of attack. Intend to improve the interaction of these aircraft with islands and making aiming with them more comfortable. We'll see if that actually is the case. We should be able to play them tomorrow, I guess. At least if I can unlock them. That's the question. Will I be one of the lucky ones to be able to unlock them? Well, I will not play too many of the super ships at all because I don't like the idea of them. But if I get one of the super carriers, I will give them 1 or 2 runs. United States changed the altitude of jet attacks. Same thing. Oh, here it is. The maximum vertical and horizontal speed of jet attack aircraft aiming vertically was reduced in order to increase gameplay comfort, which is something the Americans don't get. Okay. The Fenyang and Ship Smasher, which is the same ship, just different skin, increase the mass of AP and HE shells. Maximum AP shell damage increase from 1900 to 2050. This is good. Although, why do you increase the mass of the HE shells while not increasing the damage on them as well? I mean, it's not an insane amount of damage increase. It's about what? 100? 150? That's, well, barely, no, not even 10%. It's beneath 10%. Hey Quacky Ducky, hey dude, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Just walking through some balance changes for 11.1, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow we get the poison. You're fine? Good to hear, mate. Are you all better from the COVID nonsense? Do you feel better now? Did you get your Your vaccination doesn't really make sense at the moment because you just got the disease, so it doesn't help much. Mackensen and Prince Heinrich. Ship detection range with hierarchical search active reduced from 5.5 to 5. Okay. They gave a whole blanket nerf on all the hydro ranges, half a kilometer less on tier 8 to 10 and half a kilometer less on tier 6 to 7, so blanket nerf there. Secondaries reload a little bit decreased, about 8% down. No, yeah, 8% down. Read time for the 105s, sorry, the 150s. What, 0.4 seconds, so yeah. What's that? 7%? Somewhere in that region. The ships from used German battleship runs are quite effective against enemy destroyers due to their good speed, concealment and hierarchical search range, which is what makes them awesome. In order to both decrease their influence in battle and further distinguish them from the original German battleships, branch, yada yada, we've changed the parameters for their hierarchical search consumables. It's okay, it's a nerf, but it's not something that will affect their major gameplay. It just makes them a little bit more vulnerable to DDs, which is fine, I guess. Why does that line stand in between them? You mean what line? The characterized by having a higher detectability range at a lower speed, this is what you mean? Gas Machine is definitely the most handsome man. He is. He's definitely the most handsome man in the world. Have you not seen him yet? Drop him a follow. He's live at the moment, by the way. He is live. I need to update all that information though on the bottom. I need to update that line. That's it's a bit of an old line. It's from the last patch. So I have to update it for this new patch. So updates I have to do tonight, I guess, for tomorrow. Yeah. And then I have to think of more interesting things to set there. Admiral Nakamov, size of attacking flight from both base and reachable ship bombers squadrons decreased from 8 to 7. Good, so one less plane to worry about. Fixed an issue that decreased the ship's acceleration when the engine was activated on the incomparable. Okay, issue fix. The blackout nerf, which I don't like because I got the black for ages, but I want to put it back into the coal store, which they should have done years ago. They said they would do it, they've never done it. And this is probably because more people will get it, so more people will play it, and it has a good radar, and it would be nice if it still had that, because it's still a Fletcher with horrible torpedoes. So yeah, don't really think it needed this, but yeah, that's my. It's just 3 seconds, so it's not insane, but yeah, it would be nice to not have that. The Henry IV, I believe this is a good one for you. Already not enjoying the game anymore as it is. Oh, that's painful. I do like subs, although have you seen the changes? Blanket nerfs on subs everywhere. God damn, the subs are nerfed. Holy shit. It will be horrible to play them now. I will show you sub changes in a second there. And they will not be back in 11.1, by the way. It will be 11.2. And yes, they will come into the game. We cannot decide this. They put money into it, they will put it into the game. But they are trying to make it as doable or as fun as possible to put them in the game. And they're actually looking at what people say and changing them accordingly, which is sometimes not the right thing to do. I will show you the changes, but it's getting to be horrible to play a submarine. But first finish this one. Henry, the time it takes for an engine to reach full power while moving forward has been reduced from 70 to 60 seconds, while moving in reverse from 60 to 50 seconds. So Henry IV got a little bit more of her engine juke back. It's still battleship levels, which is stupid. The ship should have cruiser levels of engine acceleration. I mean, that's the whole shtick of this ship, so it should be a lot more fun. Unification, the speed up characteristic of ships, so they make them all slight improve, multiple improve. It's yeah, basically they all have roughly same engine from 0 to full speed and speed reduction, which is nice. So you don't sail out of ships that often anymore. When you go about an island, try to slow down, you can't slow down fast enough, and you sail past the island because you're not used to that ship. So it's good to make that unified. I wish they did that on the British ships in the reverse situation, that they would actually brake when you want them to, but yeah, well. But I'll show you what they did to the submarines. They completely murdered them. Oh, I love submarines. They were fun to play. But yeah, let me show you. You are anti-submarine, which is your opinion. It's up to you. I am pro-submarine. I like them. They're fun. But let's see here. First nerf, the first. Surface ships have new ways of keeping track of submarines. Solar pings emitted by submarines are now visible to surface ships and can be used to determine their approximate location. Normally at this, it still lights up as you can see, and you know the direction in which you are pinged. But you can also get an indicator, so even easier to drop your bombs on their faces. When a submarine is hit, and it doesn't say with what, oil will leak and rise to the surface, giving opponents a more precise reading on its movement and location. I like this one. So you now can see oil spills on which you can drop your bombs. So that's 2 buffs towards bombs dropping on top of submarines. So that's 2 submarine nerfs, by the way. I like the oil thingy. It's a lot less arcadey than your ship is shining. I hope they go away from your ship is shining towards, hey, you can see it approaching. Maybe with a little warning, but I don't like ship shining. But there's 2 nerfs already, right there. There you get the oil slicks like this. It's quite cool to look at. It is quite immersive as well. And you get an oil spill warning here. And you can only fix an oil spill with your DCP, and as you can see this number here, you only get 3 DCPs. Only 3. Limited amount of DCPs. That's nerf number 2. Nerf number 3, they got oil spills. They will not go away, as far as I understand it. They will not go away unless you surface or use your DCP. So you will be able to be followed all the time. I will have to look if they actually disappear at some point in time. I hope they do. But you will be forever being able to be followed. And the depth charge airstrike now reloads faster, allowing ships to quickly and effectively react to the above 2 mechanics. So faster and so more bombs on top of submarines. That is the 4th nerf to submarines, by the way. Depth charges from airstrike now have a 100% chance to cause flooding. 100% chance to cause flooding. You do note that these things also start fires and they also break modules. Yeah, that's a chance, but they always start flooding. And I only have 3 DCPs to use. Dealing major damage to submarines. Yeah, thank you. However, submarines can only have 1 active flood, so at least this is one buff they really need. At least only 1 active flood at a time, because many people launch with 10 million planes and then they get nuked out of existence. But you always get flooding, and when you get flooding, you always get that oil stuff, so you have to fix it. You can't just outlive your flood, because they will send more planes. So I'm now up to 5 nerfs and 1 kinda buff. Surface submarines have the ability to detect ships that is firing in and behind smoke. They do. But submarines can, at periscope depth, can only detect this ship at the sheer detection. Always is because if you go with a submarine, there was this issue where if you were a Minotaur in your smoke and you would be shooting, and the submarine would be at periscope depth in your detection range from within the smoke, they would see you. That's now changed to the submarines to be on the surface, which is fine by me. I think this is a fine change. This is a good change. I like this one. This is good. So the submarine has to be on the surface to detect you while you're firing from your smoke. They have to do a little bit more risky. That's fine. Submarines can now choose between 3 depths: surface, periscope, and max depth. So operational depth has been removed, which I don't know why. I mean, I like the 4 settings, so why is now 3? Making decisions simpler for the sub-commander and easier to interpret for opponents. Why? So you can still choose at which depth they want to be. So you can still choose for 34 meters or any of the other meters. Do you have an option? It doesn't seem like it. Normally there was a few extra options here between. For sub against sub, you want to be at the exact same depth to hit them with torpedoes, and if there's no option to change your depth, it gets very one-dimensional to fight submarines. I like the way that you could actually dive and twist between submarine strikes. So this is simplification, and I think it's kind of boring actually. I think a boring simplification. Torpedoes, two types. Acoustic homing torpedoes, same thing. Conventional torpedoes, more difficult to hit but higher damage. Damage control part is now a limited number of charges. I hate this. I mean, combine this. Yeah, just keep in mind, damage control. I already hate the system with limited damage controls. But combine this with 100% flooding, which also causes the oil leaks, with a faster airstrike reloads. Yeah, I seriously detest this one change. This is going way too far. Using all charges at the beginning of the battle, yada yada. That's basically don't use them all up at the same time. 3 depths with all kind of tables and what they can do. This I will only show up in detail when we actually get them, because this will be released in 11.2, so it's 5 weeks from now, so this will probably change, so I'm not going to get to this. Hydrophone is now an unlimited number of charges and gives more frequent updates on enemy movements. Okay, this is a buff, this buff. So okay, we got 2 buffs against 5 nerfs. Submarines can also use the enhanced rudder shift gear, reserve particle. That is something they already have, nothing new. So there's 2 buffs against 5 nerfs. Acoustic homing torpedoes and sonar ping. Sacrifice damage, the same thing they had. Low chance of flooding. The first hit on a target with a sonar ping activates homing. The second makes the homing more precise, that's the same thing. Sonar pings are visible to opponents within 8 kilometers, so this is it's a nerf, but it's a good thing that enemies can see. For example, you are this ship here, you're this ship, and you're being pinged. Your allies don't know you're being pinged, so they might not bomb this guy, but now they can see this, and the guy here says, oh, I see a ping, I can drop my bombs there as well. So there will be more coordinated airdrops, strikes on submarines. So I like that your team can see what's happening without you having to say it in chat, which is a good thing. It's still nerf for submarines, but that's a good thing, that your team can respond to what happens. A torpedo will home in on a last ship pinged and remember its target. Further pings made after the torpedo's launch will not influence it. I'm not sure if this also apply to second pings. Will this not influence changing target? So I can't say, hey, this target is no longer a target, I can re-ping it to the target that doesn't work anymore? Or doesn't it also not activate extreme homing? I don't know. I don't know what this means. It doesn't sound good to me. Because I like to launch my torpedoes at someone. For example, I can wait for some ship somewhere. For example, I sit here, like this submarine, and launch my torpedoes here. And this guy, I know he's facing this direction, but let's say he was facing this direction, he's facing backwards. I could then launch my torpedoes at someone else, make a slingshot around the island, and then ping him, so my torpedoes actually hit him around the island. I like that way that you could actually slingshot using another target to have the torpedoes go for. So I'm not sure if I enjoyed this, because it's far less, it lowers the skill ceiling, which I don't like. I like a high skill ceiling. I like if you're good, then you can actually do interesting things. Each torpedo will respond to the last successful ping before its launch. I would assume this is only then on target, not on the more precise homing. That's why I assume then. Provided there were no active pings for launch, with the first successful ping after its launch. Also, the torpedo will still be able to improve its guidance parameters. Ah, there it says it. Yeah, it will still be able to improve its guidance parameters, so that second ping will work, but only for the target they're already going for. That would mean then, if I have one ship pinged, I should also still see the pings that are active in the other ship. It should not reset pings on the other ship then, right? It should not, because it's still active for the other torpedo, so you can still give him the double ping if it's still active. Let's hope that's the case, that you can still see where you have to hit. A target ship can nullify its active pings with damage control, yada yada, already homing in, next BCP, because it ignores any sonar pings on, it will ignore any sonar pings on different ships, so I can reactivate it on the same ship that has used TCP. But I cannot send to a different ship because its homing was sent away. Okay, so I cannot reuse a torpedo in the water already. So makes this makes the torpedoes a lot less reliable damage. I mean, normally you could repurpose the torpedoes to say, hey, go for next target. Now they're just useless torpedoes that won't hit anyone. So it is reduced the reliability of their main armament again. That's the 6th nerf, by the way. This can be used to switch to different target while maintaining the already large torpedoes on their own target. I don't... Scratch this. I want to... Getting my torpedoes back on target. Oh. Sonar pings can be fired and stored on several targets at once. This way various options can be prepared for subsequent attack. Yeah, it sounds like higher skill ceiling, but I think it's just dumbing down how it works. It's a shame. Conventional torpedoes. The second type of torpedoes available to submarines cannot home in on targets but deal higher damage, similar to destroyers. Good. Their range and speed are decreased, so easy to dodge, while arm distance and detection range by enemies are increased. Exactly the thing I proposed for those things, so that they can be run at longer ranges, and they do the full damage and are easy to dodge, but if they hit, they do a lot of damage. Sonar pings do not affect them in any way. Good, because this was the way to activate their higher damage previously, and that would mean that enemy would know where they would come from. They turn a bit and they were completely useless and never hit. So this is good. So normal torpedoes, that's good. Oral slicks. If a submarine is hit either at periscope or maximum depth, so both the depths that's not the surface, oral slicks appear on the water surface that are visible to enemies. They will help surface ships track the submarine's location and direction. Okay, so whenever it is hit, an oil leak can be repaired either with damage control parts or by surfacing. So another reason to use DCP, which you only have 3 charges of. The capacity meter depletes at a lower rate when a submarine is attacked than in previous iterations. The capacity recharge at a faster rate before, but the maximum charge has been lowered by 25%. It doesn't say by how much less depletion and how much more recharge there is. So I would assume this is a nerf to get them more on the surface. I mean, getting on the surface is not a bad thing for submarines. It's good that they're on the surface sometimes. So I'm not sure if this is a problem. I think this is just to make sure people don't sit on the bottom of the sea all the time, which they couldn't do anyway. But at least for the part of the match. So I think this is acceptable. Anti-submarine combat. Sonar pings emitted by subs are visible at an 8 km range. That's the same thing. Okay, sonar pings work different from torpedo detection. Each ship can only see pings with its own detection range. Okay, so for example, I see a torpedo here, sorry, a ping here, and then someone over there, my team, would not see that ping. If it was a torpedo, I would say, hey, there's a torpedo there, and he would know, oh, there's a torpedo there, and he can see them. So it's good that's dependent on the ship proximity from the ping. So at least not the entire enemy team will just launch all their bombs at once at a single submarine if they're not within the range. When a ping hits your ship, its location is indicated on the ship model bar, and the health bar is the same thing as it used to be on the health bar though. Health bar will be shown here as well. Interesting, curious. The active effect of a solar ping can be nullified using DCP, same thing. Let's see, shells, bombs, rockets and torpedoes launched by ships or aircraft can only hit subs when the surface or periscope depths, same thing. Ships have either ship mount depth charge or the depth charge armaments, airstrike armaments to combat submarines. Changed. Same thing. The airstrike reloads quite fast and has a small drop area, so they decrease its drop area, talked about this, with each charge dealing low damage. Here. Each charge dealing low damage here, right? Then we zoom back up here. Where they talk about those things. No, not here. Active floods, 3 depth charges. There was something they said here. The areas. Control F. Let's have a look at damage. High damage, no. Nope. No, there's control party. Here. Depth charge from airstrikes now have 100% chance to cause flooding on submarines, thus dealing major damage. Yeah, there it is. There it is. So they're already contradicting themselves in the same article. Hey, Mr. O, how are you doing? How are you doing? We're talking about the submarine, the submarine nerf patch, because goddamn. So far I've counted 7 nerfs and 2 buffs, and one of the buffs is marginally decreasing one of the nerfs. Marginally, not more than marginally. So yeah, that is the big submarine nerf patch. Where were we? Anti-submarine? No, we're here. So yeah. There we go. The airstrike reloads quite fast and has a small drop area, each charge dealing low damage. Yeah. And the drop area being small, so yes, low damage. Is it low damage considered to a submarine's only low maximum HP pool of 17k, which is basically nothing? I mean, if this deals 5k damage, for example, on a battleship, 500,000 damage, 500,000 HP. What? 5k is nothing. On a submarine, that's a third of its health. So what is low damage? Is it low damage for a submarine or low damage as we think, hey, 5k is low damage? Which for a submarine is a third of its health. So I'm pretty skeptical about this one. And the drop area being small means if you hit, which is more difficult to hit now because you have a large, small area. But if you hit many bombs. So you hit each charge low damage, many times. 3 bombs is insta-kill, by the way. This makes the charge impact density higher and allows, if used successfully, for multiple charges to hit submarine at once. And every single bomb that hits will activate flooding. 100% chance to flood, which is horrible. Especially with only, doesn't say it here, only a limited amount of DCPs. I really think they are nerfing the submarines way too heavily. Way too heavily. I mean, they weren't that bad to begin with. They were not much more annoying than any DD or aircraft carrier. Surveillance radar. Because success can detect a submarine at any depth. So when a sub is at maximum depth, it can only be detected within a horizontal radius of 2 kilometers. So now we can also be detected at maximum depth. It was funny to go to a ship and with a submarine you're slow, you maneuver slow, you get anywhere slow. So if you're at underwater and you have to outrun something, you can't. The only way to get away from someone is usually go underneath it and so towards it. So it sails over you and goes the other way, and hopefully you'll be able to go the right direction. Now, if they can hydro you at maximum depth, you have no way of escaping anymore. With your low HP, you're always flooding, etc., etc. They really hit the submarines here. Far more than they should, because submarines were not powerful at all last patch. Remember how much damage they did? Barely any. Remember how much influence they had? Barely any. They have a hard time getting to any cap. They have a hard time to do any damage. And now they have a hard time to stay alive and stay unspotted, because both concealment is nerfed, damage is nerfed, survivability is nerfed, DCP is nerfed. Holy shit! This will be a horrible class to play from now on. This will not be fun to play at all. It's 5 weeks away and they still will do changes, but goddamn. It was a fun class to play, but I doubt that I will play it after this. Dealing with submarines hidden underwater. Submarines can only spend a limited amount of time underwater because of their dive capacity, normal. When a submarine, by the way, dive capacity has been nerfed also by 25%, by the way. When a submarine's hit, oil will leak and rise to the surface, unless it does not take countermeasures. I don't know how long oil leaks will last. Will it be forever? Will it be for a certain amount of time? I hope amount of time. But in the meantime, it's a perfect target for depth charges. Oil leaks will give a more precise reading on its movement and location, even when it's hiding underwater. I like the oil leak mechanic, and I like that they exist, that's fine. What I don't like is that the only way to counter it is the nerf by only having a limited amount of DCPs. That's just painful. So this sounds like utter and complete submarine pain to me. Which is sad, because they were kind of fun to play. They were not powerful, they were not effective, They could only do a very niche thing and only rarely. And now they're gonna die every single time. Yeah, I see this as a big problem. A big problem. This is taking all the fun out of submarines. So yeah, there you have it. People are against submarines and people have all the hate in the world for it, but this is just go way, way, way too far. Oh well, all upcoming in 11.2, but for now.